So good morning students. Now we are discussing about the relationship between H1, H2 and T1 and T2 in case of a complementary angles. Suppose if the complementary angle is given, then how we find out the relation between the H and R and T. Okay, so let us discuss now today. Relation in case of complementary angles. In case of complementary angles. So first of all, what do you mean by complementary angles? The net angle must be equal to 90 degrees. Net angle must be equal to 90 degrees. What is that net angle? I'll tell you which. So yesterday, we are studying about projectile motion, isn't it? So when a body is projected like this, it goes up and then comes down. So this is what is projectile motion because it is taking a parabolic path. Now, let me say the angle made by this body with respect to the horizontal is theta. But here you are taking theta 1 and theta 2, right? So in the first case, let me assume theta 1. Let me assume theta 1. So here the net angle in the sense, this is theta 1, so this will be theta 2. So the total angle is, so this case, this is total angle here, total angle, which is 90 degrees. So theta 1 plus theta 2 must be equal to 90 degrees. That is what is the meaning of a complementary angles. Now, if I say that a body has been projected with an angle of theta 1 initially and then theta 2, so what will be the relation between them? So now, if I am interested to find out H1, H, which is given by u square sine square theta by 2g. So this is the relation we have studied earlier. Suppose if I say this is theta 1, this will be H1. If I say here theta 2, this will be H2. So H2 is equal to u square sine square theta 2 by 2g. Like this we are going to get. Now the thing is that theta 1 plus theta 2 equal to 90. So why don't I write this theta 2 as 90 minus theta 1. So I am pushing this theta 1, otherwise it is becoming negative. So in place of this theta 2, I am interested to substitute this value. So what I am going to get? U square sine square 90 minus theta 1 by 2g. Okay. So what is sine 90 minus theta? That is nothing but cos theta. So u square cos square theta 1 by 2g. So I am going to get like this. So this is the formula for H2. Okay. And this is for H1. So I want to find out the relation between H1, H2 as well as range in case of a complementary angle. In case of a complementary angle. So what I am going to do now? Observe. Now R1 is equal to, so as I am discussing that R is given by u square sine 2 theta by g. This is what I am telling you, isn't it? So if this is theta 1, here I will get R1. Similarly, R2 is equal to u square sine 2 theta by g. Like this I am going to get. Since theta 2 is equal to 90 minus theta 1, if I substitute in this expression, then what I am going to get? U square sine 2 times of 90 minus theta 1 by g. Isn't it? So 2 into 90 is 180. 2 into 90 is 180. So u square sine 180 minus 2 theta 1. In this way I am going to get by g. So sine 180 minus theta is nothing but theta only because it is in the second quadrant. So u square sine 180 minus this angle is equal to sine of the same angle you will get by g. This thing we are studying in our trigonometry during our 10th class. Okay. So now you got R2 value. So if you observe carefully, R1 is u square sine 2 theta 1 by g and R2 is also u square sine 2 theta 1 by g. Both are same, isn't it? So now you got R1, R2. Now let me find the relationship between the R1, R2 and H1 and H2 finally. Okay. So if I perform R1 into R2, what I am going to get? Since both are of same values, I'll get like this: u square sine 2 theta 1 by g into whole square. Because both are of same values, isn't it? Whereas coming to this h1 and h2, since r1 r2 both are same, let me write, since r1 is equal to r2, let me write this as r. So this can be written as r square, which is equal to u square. What is the sine 2 theta? It is nothing but 2 sine theta and cos theta by g. Like this I am getting. Okay. So I am having whole square, right? So once again I have to multiply this. U square 2 sine theta cos theta by g. Like this I am going to get. Is it clear? So now observe, I have given you that h1 is equal to u square sine square 2 sine square theta by 2g. So that is, here I am having u square. Okay. U square and then sine square theta by 2g. So I am having g. So this is one sine and this is other sine. Is it clear? Now since here 1 is there, you can put 1. No problem here. Whether you put or not, no problem. So what is missing? This 2 is missing. So one more thing what we have to do is that we have to multiply and divide by 4. Multiply and divide by 4. 4 like this. Why? Because here one more 2 is there. That was missing. So now if you observe carefully, you have to get u square sine square theta 1 by 2g. Here is u square is there. Sine into sine square you will get. By only g is there. But our interest is you have to get 2g. So what I do is that in place of this 4, let me write it as, for our simplicity, 2 into 2. Can I write like this? Is it clear? Now I have to get 2. So I am taking this 2 here. Observe carefully, my dear children. So h1 is equal to u square sine square 2 theta 1 by 2g. U square sine into sine square theta. I'll write once again for you. So u square sine square theta 1 and this 2 into g, that is 2g. Like this I am going to get. And remaining part here, one more u square is there. Okay, cos into cos. So you will get it as cos square theta 1 by here 1g and here 2 is there. So I can write it as 2g. Understood now? So that still I am having something more. What is the something more? This 2 value and here 2 value and here 4 value. 2 into 2, 4. 4 into 4, that is 16. So multiply by 16. This is the way I am going to get. Okay. Now u square sine square theta 1 by 2g given by h1. So this one is nothing but h1. Whereas this one is nothing but h2. So let me write like this. h1 and h2. Which was multiplied by 16. So equal to r square. Equal to r square. So now I want to push this square to other side. Then I am going to get r is equal to root over. So this can be written as 16 into h1 into h2. So 16 times of h1 h2. This could be written as 4 root h1 and h2. So the relation between the range and h1 and h2 in case of a complementary angles was given by r is equal to 4 root over h1 h2. Okay. So I'll write here once again for you. R is equal to 4 root h1 and h2. This is very important relation, my dear children. I hope you understood. So once again I am repeating for you. So whenever, as we have discussed earlier, whenever a body has been thrown with a velocity u, making an angle theta 1 with respect to the horizontal, okay, then the formula for the maximum height is u square sine square theta by 2g. Since you have mentioned theta 1, here also we get theta 1. In case of complementary angles, we have studied that the sum of the angles must be equal to 90. So theta 1 plus theta 2 equal to 90. From this, theta 2 is equal to 90 minus theta 1. So if I take the expression for theta 2, then I will get h2, right? So here I got sine square theta 2. In place of theta 2, I am substituting 90 minus theta 1. So what is sine of 90 minus theta 1? Nothing but cos theta. Sine 90 minus theta is nothing but cos theta. Okay. Since I am having sine square, then I have to get cos square. Understood now? So like this I have obtained two expressions, that is h1 and h2 for two angles, theta 1 and theta 2. Clear now? Now, whereas coming to the range, so what is the range? We have discussed yesterday. The horizontal distance covered during entire journey of the projectile motion is known as range. So here, from here to here. So this is the starting point. We have to say it as point of projection, and this is ending point. We have to say this as point of striking. So these things I have discussed in the last class. So the maximum horizontal distance that has been covered between point of projection and point of striking, or we can also say define it as the maximum distance, the horizontal distance covered, or the maximum horizontal distance covered during entire time of flight. What is time of flight? For how much time it stay in the air is known as time of flight. So from here to here, this is the horizontal distance is upon its entire journey, known as range R. Okay. So we have discussed that the expression for the range R is nothing but u square sine 2 theta by g. This is what I have done yesterday, isn't it? Now for theta 1 angle, so if this is theta 1, then I have to get here R1. If I take theta 2, then I have to get R2. So the same thing I have written here. Now, as we discussed earlier, theta 2 is given by 90 minus theta 1. So the same thing I have substituted here. So 2 into 90 is nothing but 180, and 2 into theta 1 nothing but 2 theta 1. So like this I have framed the equation for the range R2. So I hope that you know it in the second quadrant. No, sine of 90 plus theta or 180 minus theta. Sine of 90 plus theta, 180 minus theta. There the sign is positive, all silver teacups, which you have studied in your 10th class. Okay. If sine 180 minus some theta you have taken, you will get sine theta only. Okay. If cos 180 minus theta you take, you will get cos theta. Plus or minus, that changes. Okay. Now, instead of 180 minus theta, here you are having 2 theta 1. So, you have to get only 2 theta 1. So, here the answer is sine of 2 theta 1. Understood? So, if you observe carefully, the range R1 and the range R2 both are of same values. Observe carefully. This and this same. So, that is the reason I have written that R1 is equal to R2 is equal to R. Now, simply I want to multiply this R1 and R2. Okay, R1 into R2. So, here answer and here answer both are same. That is the reason I have taken whole square. Now, whole square. So, you got this expression. So, what is sine 2 theta? Sine 2 theta is nothing but 2 sine theta cos theta. Since whole square is there, 2 times I have written here. So, by undergoing a small changes, finally I got it. R is equal to 4 root over H1 H2. This is very important relation, my dear children. It will be helpful for any entrance examination. So, please remember this. So, many times observed in a competitive examination, this relation they just commonly they have been asking. Okay. So, make a note of this one. I just give you 2 minutes of time. You can take a screenshot also.